At the University of Saskatchewan, students and faculty have been lucky enough to have access to synchrotron science at the Canadian Light Source, conveniently located on campus. The beamlines of the synchrotron enable scientists to take a closer look at materials at a molecular level. The beamlines of the synchrotron have been used in the research of a wide variety of disciplines, but what might be surprising is its use in the humanities, as it is used by museums and archaeologists to gather more information about ancient artifacts. This collaborative partnership enables the Museum of Antiquities to gain more information from archaeological material that could not have been uncovered otherwise. Our own director, Dr. Tracy Harvey, was one of the 3 instructors of a collaborative class, CMRS/Chem 398, alongside Tracy Walker and Dr. Tom Ellis, which brought together chemistry, history, CMRS, and archaeology undergrads. The students worked in independent groups, which were centered around different artifacts in the museum's collection. Students also had the opportunity to work with Dr. Ellis, as well as other chemistry department faculty, and harness laboratory tools, enabling the students to conduct tests on their objects with machines like the tabletop XRF.
So education programs at the Canadian Light Source are really a place where people who are interested in learning about how science can intersect with lots of different things using research and asking questions. We collaborate with professors, primarily at the University of Saskatchewan, to see if and or how a project using CLS techniques can fit with their course. So I'll tell you about a particular course that we did in collaboration with the Classical, Medieval, and Renaissance Studies Department and the Chemistry Department. Together, we offered a class to 3rd year CMRS students and chemistry students at the same time where those students worked together. So in terms of a course, it was built around this project idea. So it was project-based learning, inquiry-based learning, collaborative learning, interdisciplinary learning. It was sort of everything all mixed together with all of the other pieces of a course wrapped around what the students would be doing in their project. The CLS was doing a school for scientists who wanted to add synchrotron techniques to their skill set with a focus on archaeological and historical artifacts. And our keynote speaker, we wanted to open that seminar up to anyone who wanted to come, whether or not they were attending the workshop with us or not. And so Dr. Harvey agreed to book some space for us to have that in the Peter McKillen building. And so we had a wine and cheese afterwards in the museum so that the scientists and the historians could work together in a informal setting, in a beautiful setting of the museum, and it worked out wonderfully. And so lots of people were chit-chatting and talking. I have a personal interest in history and in artifacts and recreating artifacts and things like that. And so just chit-chatting with enough of CLS Beamline staff and with Dr. Harvey and then some of the other professors from CMRS that happened to be around, where we pitched this idea of connecting together in a more formal way and offering this wildly interdisciplinary opportunity for students to learn and see if it could work out as a formal course. Current times notwithstanding, for people to be isolated and working on a problem by themselves. Most of the time, big problems are really only solved when people get together and bring those different perspectives and different ideas and skill sets, and all of that needs to come together in order to figure out how to solve some of society's big questions. And so if we're not training students how to do that, then we're doing a disservice for our students.
Hello, my name is Tracy Harvey and I am the director and curator of the Museum of Antiquities at the University of Saskatchewan. Well, doing research like what you find or can do at the Canadian Light Source provides valuable insights into material culture, that is, artifacts created by ancient people, ancient cultures, and more importantly about ancient people themselves. We can learn things about conservation of these artifacts in a way that we've never been able to do before without this technology. We can find out everything from where a culture sourced materials to create the artifacts they made, including things like coins and glass and pottery. And we can also learn about what ancient people were growing, but more importantly, how they were growing it and how they were consuming things. In terms of artifact conservation, we can learn more about the causes of degradation of objects, such as metal, and be more prescriptive about how we can, address those concerns, address those problems in a way that will not cause further damage to an artifact and ensure that these objects that are thousands of years old are around for another 1,000 or so years or more. So basically, this kind of technology can aid archaeologists and museum professionals by helping them to dig deeper into the chemical history of objects and the people who created them. Well, one thing that I find particularly fascinating, not only as a museum professional, but I'm also a numismatist. That is, I study ancient coins, in particular Roman, but I do dabble in Greek coinage as well. But the technology that the CLS provides allows archaeologists and scientists to source materials. In the case of coinage, studies have been taking place that allow scholars to trace a coin's metal source, basically its metal contents, back to the particular mine or mines that the material came from. So knowing where city-states like Athens or Rome were getting their precious metals from to make currency tells us a lot about their economic influence, their political influence, where they were getting their wealth from. So this is indispensable information for ancient historians, archaeologists, and numismatists to have. Also, more recently, work has been done to determine the contents of ancient pottery or glass vessels. What kinds of materials were being held inside these vessels? What were they being used for? In particular, in the everyday household. So we're able to find out things about everyday people using this technology. The studies pertaining to the elite and the politically powerful people, we have a lot of information about that sort of demographic because of the literary sources that survive and inscriptions that survive. But for everyday people, we don't know very much, and this technology helps shed light on how these people in the middle or lower classes of society live their day-to-day lives.
So one of the most exciting aspects of the course was this idea that we would bring students together with different backgrounds and different interests. And personally, I think this is the most important thing that we can do. My analogy would be, the importance for people, anyone, to go and travel abroad, visit other cultures, learn about how other people live. And the importance is not just what you learn about other people, but what you learn about yourself in the process, and what you learn about the way you live by being exposed to the rest of the world. And so that's the essential core of what we wanted to do when we brought students together in our course. We wanted them not only to do something interesting in their own field, as a scientist to do science and measurements on artifacts, and in someone in the humanities to do research into the artifacts, but more importantly, to work together in teams, interdisciplinary teams. And the real importance there is manifold, but one is to really learn and respect the way other people approach science research and the way that they would approach a research project. And in doing so, one is often, I think, surprised to learn that the way that we do things in our own discipline is very much focused on our own discipline. And by learning about other disciplines, we learn not only to respect those other disciplines, but in some cases to challenge some of the fundamental assumptions we have about the way we do things in our own discipline.
I wholeheartedly believe that more museums should be putting the time and money into scientific analysis. A lot of artifacts get overlooked because they believe the research has already been done, but with this analysis, we can have new ideas and new questions can be answered. I also believe that this analysis can help with conservation works so that these artifacts that are so priceless can be around for as long as possible. They are brilliant. New collaborations means new ideas, and new ideas means new discoveries that otherwise wouldn't have happened. Scientists, philosophers, psychiatrists, all of them have insights that archaeologists and historians may not have, and they should be utilized.
Being from a science background, I was really interested in performing real science at a very cutting-edge facility, an experience that was unlike any other experience in my undergrad labs. We use the ideas beamline and we're looking to see variations in the composition or speciation of metal on ancient Roman coins to figure out if there was a better way to protect them against patination and degrading after they were unearthed in the field. We ended up finding out that water was one of the main activators of the reactions that patinate and degrade the coins, and this goes against the typical field practice of rinsing the coins after unearthing them. I think that our research can help foster more studies looking into how to better protect metal-based artifacts that are found in the field. I think that collaborative research is very useful and impactful for various fields of study. Our project looked at ancient coins from a chemical and historical impact. I would not have known the value of the coins had we not looked at it through my colleagues specializing in that area. I think that collaborative research is very useful and impactful for various fields of study. Our project looked at ancient coins from a chemical and historical point of view. I would not have known the value of the coins that we looked at or what they meant for history had it not been for my colleagues specializing in that area. And vice versa. There are experts in the disciplines for a reason. Why not share the knowledge and broaden everyone's understanding of the material from multiple perspectives? I learned that research can be and should be multidisciplinary. The impact that research can have when using multiple perspectives is greater than just a single discipline. I think the museum should do more research like this. Like I said, it benefits the museum with another perspective, but it also benefits anyone who has the pleasure of working with the museum by enlightening them on a different perspective as well.